It's been a while, and this album has been suggested to me nonstop, especially by a guy named Gluten Gaming who put this album on the album wheel a long, long, long time ago. And then we end up hosting this album election, and a ton of people end up agreeing with Gluten Gaming, saying, dude, Walter, you need to listen to this album, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, by the Flaming Lips. This is actually going to be my introduction to the Flaming Lips, but W's in the chat for Gluten Gaming, who went out of their way to be like, dude, for months, by the way, as an active member of the community, for months trying to tell me to do it, and it's like I only listen when everybody else tells me to do it. So make sure W's go where they need to go for our homie Gluten Gaming, because he told me first. Just making sure everybody knows that. Now, besides that, this seems to be kind of like indie rock royalty, and I'm kind of blown away that I haven't heard it yet. You might have heard this song in the SpongeBob movie, like I did Ocean Man. Okay, so guys, I've got a little bit of context from old Goatmon. Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots is the Flaming Lips 10th album, and my favorite of theirs. It followed the acclaimed album The Soft Bulletin, which was for many was them finally properly putting their pop sensibilities together with their experimental side. Before these, their albums would have interesting ideas like Zeirika. I feel like I'm saying that incorrectly. Which was multiple albums of different parts of the music you were intended to play on different sound systems at once to experience it new every time. That is a lot. That's a whole lot. I'm sorry. Like, it kind of reminds me. Jack Kerouac one time said he wanted everybody to buy On the Road scrolls instead of just the book, because he wrote it on teletype paper, and he was like, no, make them buy the scrolls of it. So it's kind of like their version of that. At the time, this was considered a little brother to the Soft Bulletin, but like the Big Lebowski, the opinion of Yoshimi's quality has grown up in the 20 years since. It is a semi-concept album about robots coming to Earth and Earth sending up a representative named Yoshimi to fight them. Okay, the robots end up falling in love with her and let her win. Nice. The song is considered also a metaphor for the battle with cancer. Oh my gosh. The album's topics meander after the first four songs and are thought to be about humanity, what it is, love, and life after these events. Late in the album, the song Do You Realize? I think that's, if I've heard a song, that's probably the song I've heard. Do You Realize is a classic written for the summer. Guys, I'm going to be honest. It took me I feel very accomplished that I read so much of this. But I'm not going to keep reading it. I got through most of it though, and I feel like we have a good sense of the album now going into this, right? If you want to read it, join the Discord, ! Discord in chat or in the video description below on YouTube. Can we agree that that is a fair way to see the rest of the context? Beautiful. And we've got personnel. The stream was recommended by a friend. Well, me, Perf, thank you so much for coming by. I hope, and, really hope that I am not, a letdown. But, guys, this is the Music Discovery stream. Have you heard the album Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, or are you hopping into this raw dog with me for the very first time listening? Guys, I'm going to hit the play button on this thing, but before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Kick or Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time, and some days, like today, makeup days on Thursday. But come hang out with us. Come discover music with us. These people over here are actually the best people, and I know I speak for all of us when I say we would just love to have you by and discover some good music. And this one in particular, it seems like we've got a ton of people that are kind of mixed and matched. So, guys, without further ado, let's hop in. Some new, some old, but all of us hopping in together. The first song is Fight Test. Yoshimi battles the Pink Robots. Here we go. The top 10 of the Millennium Free. Wow, that's huge. Definitely has the indie rock vibe kind of thing. We didn't get a good sense of that intro because I had it turned down for everybody, so I'm going to bring it back up and just start it over. Just so you guys know, I felt like I didn't give the intro a shot. So here, now, here we go. This was influenced by Cat Stevens, who is not anybody I've looked into. I definitely like the playful, like, robot-y noises. I guess Mel's heard this. What'd you say? I hear the Cat Stevens song. Like, I hear it so much. I've never heard the Cat Stevens song. Yes, you have. What song? The Father and Son song. It's the best song ever. I hear it. What, Cats in the Cradle? I don't hear. I don't. Father and Son. Oh, yeah. That's what everybody's saying. Yeah. Okay. I don't know that I've heard the song Father and Son by Cat Stevens, so in fairness, I can't necessarily say that this is a ripoff or not. After this album review, potentially I'll have to listen to that song and then get back to you. But Cat Stevens sued him, huh? Apparently everybody hears it. I do like this song. Did you hear how the harmonies kind of... You've got them starting at different places. I really like the way the music works like that. I really like the way the music works like that. Jeez. Like really, really smart stuff, right? Yeah, the slapback delay on the vocals, there's definitely something to be said about the way he edits it, but I feel like there's just kind of an authenticity. It feels a little bit like kind of a rough and dirty recording, right? Like you kind of, it's like really big and huge, but it also feels like indie rock that might have been made in somebody's living room or something, and that's kind of exciting. And I guess the way he articulates his voice, there's just kind of a personality in it that I'm really finding appealing. The drums are a lot of fun in this. But to surrender, I just wept and regretted this moment. Oh, but I I love the guitar sounds here a ton. It's interesting how concept albums can occasionally end up being like kind of a, a looking glass into your own life as far as lyrics go, but it's like only in nuggets, right? Like you can kind of follow the story, but it's just the way that some things are said, right? Like the question of if it's not now, then tell me when would be the time that you would stand up and be a man. Like there are these moments that it's just like that it calls to real life, even if you are within a story. But I don't know. I think a lot of people, especially indie rock dorks, such as myself, might have grown up hearing this and kind of feeling like they asked themselves that question. And I think that there's something very, very, very relatable to it, and I love it. This sound is nice. That bass line is so tasty too. But you're with him now, I do no good. I should have fought him, but instead I let him take it. Wow. I really like this song. I mean, they're asking some age-old questions, right? Like age-old. Like I don't know how a man decides what's right for his own life. It's all a mystery. But there's a kind of this like acceptance in this that like I don't know. It does, I guess, kind of remind me of like an ooh la la moment, like by the Faces, right? Like where you just have this kind of I wish that I knew what I know now when I was younger kind of vibe within this song. And it's like, you don't know how to give somebody the advice that they need. It all just kind of happens, and things just all things just sometimes fall into place, and it's the big scheme of life. And I like that they're kind of approaching this massive concept within the music and doing it in like a dorky indie rock way. It's really nice. And then a bass line behind it. And then the vocal layering. I don't know how they're accomplishing a lot of these like big spacey robot-y noises. Like it really does throw you right into to kind of this atmosphere of like you hear this, I don't know even what it is, like this kind of digital atmosphere that they throw you into. You've got this bass line, but it's almost like you're in like a very wet like decay of arpeggiated synthy sounds at the whole time. With the 4/4 drum beat, Then a lot of this decay and ambience here.
The test is over.
Tons of layers. And the ambience there. Now. This is the way it all ends there in the decay. Oh, and it flows in. It kind of flows into the next song. I love a concept album. That was a really nice flow in. feel like I've got a hair on my nose. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. I was trying to get that the whole time. W's for Mel, who just got the hair off my nose. Listen to this, though. A non-sept album. Never heard that. I like that. The stereo soundscape is really, really, really nice.
When its circuits duplicate emotions. And the sense of coldness detaches as it tries to comfort yourself.
Hey, Giz. Well, you didn't miss much. So are these robots like sentient then? Like, I'm trying to follow the story. I will say the first two songs at any rate give you a real nice like ability to kind of close your eyes and make an Interstellar 5555 with the sound. Like you can kind of see, I don't know, like they have a really cool way of incorporating the imagery. I can kind of see this universe, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like in a lot of ways that maybe Imaginal Disc from Magdalena Bay heard this album and thought, you know what we could do? There's certainly coding in a lot of music that comes after this. How long have the lips been going? You've got this like gated reverb thing happening on their vocals. Oh, so they've been around for a while. They've been around for a while, and yet they're getting like, you know, like the indie rock, like God level stuff. And this came out in what, 2002? Looks like July. It's kind of crazy to think that this was done in 2002. What do we know about the recording stuff of this? Like, these are some really. It kind of reminds me a little bit of also, I guess, like the Postal Service, maybe for the time, the sounds happening in the time. Kind of nuts. It just hit me what year this happened.
Feeling a synthetic kind of love, dreaming.
I love this sound. Did the stream just die? And I have now resumed the recording. So, guys, let's get back to it. I'm going to bring it back. Let's go to like 2:15 just for the live viewers. There we are. I can't decide if what I'm hearing is like synths or an actual bass line, though. Like, is it a synth bass? A sympathetic wish.
One more robot learns to be something more than a machine.
Kind of gives you like a her vibe.
When it tries to
feels like the vocals are massively layered with like gated reverbs or something. I'm not sure. It's at least in the harmonies because you hear these and you kind of noises. But then I don't know. It's like the the dry sound where you just hear a man's voice, saying like it's hard to say what's real when you know the way you feel. It's nuts. It's actually crazy to me. And again, like I think it's more of an allegory than anything. This album already, or at least the first couple of songs, it presents allegory, or what am I trying to say? Like it's showing the way a lot of people feel through allegory, and I love that. And the soundscape, like the soundscapes that they create with this is just incredible. It does give you a vibe of like the movie Her, though, right? Like, and even just this idea of like, is it possible that one day people are gonna fall in love with like programs, things that like man created? And I don't mean like, I mean obviously like, you know, man and woman create baby. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the bigger philosophical question of what happens when like more and more and more people do that. And like, yeah, we're talking about it happening, right? But not in like a massive way, right? Like not where like we're seeing it in the news where like tons and tons and tons of people are like leaving conventional relationships, right? We're just seeing like kind of the beginnings of it, and it's like it's like niche news, right? It's like we're kind of looking at it like they're the weirdos at the circus, but it's like it might actually get to a point where it's that deep. And I don't know. They're talking about this way before AI was even like kind of happening. I mean, I know that at that time there was like the movie 2001 AI artificial intelligence, like, or whatever it was, but there is definitely like kind of a funny commentary that this album speaks now. Like how far, yeah. That's two different movies. You see what I mean? But I think you guys are connecting what I'm talking about. Got you. Ooh, that transition. A spaghetti western guitar vibe in the back. And if I'm burping, it's because of the Fresca. Fresca's out, everybody. And I feel bad for talking over that part. The way that this soundscape happens, and it's like kind of abrupt, right? The transition led into by that guitar. Like the harp? I love the way this is ending. I see Clark. Shout out to the boy. That was tremendous. The way that ended, I wasn't sure if it was going to transition into another song, but that last chunk, there was just. I think that this is like, is this real strings? What's going on here? I never saw Twin Peaks. Ooh. You've got like acoustic guitar cut up by tape machine kind of vibes here. Like you can kind of hear the tape machine sort of vibe, and I like that. I feel feel like they want you to hear the technology. You know what I mean? They want you to hear the whirring and stuff.
でも何も入ってない声を夜は今の
You hear the language getting chopped up in the back?
Her name is Yoshimi. She's a black belt in karate, working for the city.
The headphone listeners, if you identify yourselves, if you've never heard this album, I think we're all in for a treat because this is flying everywhere in the headphones. I'm going to bring it back a little bit. There's no way I'm going to be able to talk through all of the sounds I'm hearing flying through this, right? It's going to be impossible. And I understand everybody is saying 5.1 is insane. This is just kind of the one we've landed on. But either way, and honestly, that needed a plus mark as well. This sound, the name is Yoshimi. From there, I don't know what it is, but he just sounds like your buddy that just gets his acoustic guitar out. He gets like the guy's voice. He just sounds like he's your friend. No, I'm saying the lead singer. I'm talking in general. The lead singer feels like a person like that would just get his acoustic guitar out with his like friend group and play it for everybody. You know, like there's a real authentic vibe to his voice, but then you hear it in this like massive soundscape. Yeah, you're just your friend from Tulsa. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, it sounds like the buddy that's like, oh, he's always singing for us, like whatever the case may be. Like, but it sounds like your friend that sings and plays the acoustic guitar at the places is singing this massive story to you. But again, this whole vibe, the stereo soundscape, hearing all of the people talking, the chopping up. In 2001, his voice is so present, but
she's a black belt in karate, working for the city. She has to discipline her body.
Oh, thank you for the context,
'Cause she knows that it's demanding to defeat those evil machines.
I love this.
I know she can beat them. Oh, Yoshimi, they don't believe me.
Wow.
But you won't let those robots eat me, Yoshimi. They don't believe me.
This is one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
But you won't let those robots defeat me.
This is nuts. Like this is one of those kinds of things where it's like you clearly see the story, but you also kind of can relate to the character at any rate. Like and when you hear how chopped up this like the instrumentation is, like you have something as like organic feeling and even, you know, kind of like human to it, like this acoustic guitar, but they chop it up and they like move it around the stereo space. And it's like when you hear what it does, it feels like a person's talking, but it's kind of getting broken up in the chaos of digitization. And it feels like, again, I can totally see the connectivity of like a robot falling in love and a person trying to communicate. I don't know. There's something here. Organic and synthetic. Very, very, very much. And it's captured in the sound so well.
Those evil natured robots, they're programmed to destroy us.
And I other than the acoustic guitar, I don't even know how I would go about trying to make some of these sounds, right? but they somehow masterfully sounded like the perfect mix of organic and synthetic. And it's crazy that you can like come up with a concept and then just put it perfectly to sound.
She's gotta be strong to fight them.
The harmonies, the beat boopies.
Cause she knows that it'd be tragic.
Who was listening to this in high school? Like who had this as their formative music?
I know she can beat them. Oh, Yoshimi, they don't believe it. But you won't let those robots defeat me, Yoshimi. They don't believe me. But you won't let those robots eat me, Yoshimi.
What's crazy to me is that there was like indie rock mega bangers happening like this, which clearly this inspired so much of the music I would go on to like. But it's like I had no idea. I had no idea anything about the Flaming Lips. Like what a way to jump in. I'm actively just mind blown about what it is I'm hearing. But even it's in like the details of the noises, like with the wow, wow, wow. Like they are, it's like they're masterfully painting in all of the soundscape stuff. And it's just mind blowing to me. Absolutely rewards a headphone listen.
You know that
Is this a like 25th anniversary cover, and that's why I'm seeing the 25 there, like the 2-5? Like, and again, the way they play with the timing on the background noises.
it'd be tragic if those evil robots win.
The 25 was always there? Okay. Was it always significant somehow?
That she can beat them. Oh, Yoshimi, they don't believe me. But you won't let those robots defeat me, Yoshimi. They don't believe me. But you won't let those robots defeat me.
I'm trying to think about this from the perspective of like the narrator, right? Is the narrator, so Yoshimi is a girl or a boy? Yeah, but I'm saying like a robot or a person. Is Yoshimi a robot or a person? And so again, when I am considering the perspective of our narrator here, she's a person. So is our narrator the robot? And are they on the cover? Also a fair question.
But you won't let those robots eat me.
Like, is he afraid of being... You think the narrator is an inferior person? Or is it a robot that fell in love with Yoshimi and is afraid of being an inferior robot?
They don't believe me. But you won't let those robots eat me, Yoshimi.
Love this. I'm not gonna lie to you. The way you put that, going optimal, I you kind of and this is just as honest as I can be, man. Like you kind of nailed exactly what it is I want to be as a father. You know what I mean? The guy that like takes albums as like story time, bedtime stories, and like makes music a part of, an imaginative part of my kid's existence. And I think, especially having gotten to meet you and your family, you did a masterful job of that. Like seriously, chat, dad for going optimal. I've met his kids. I've met the man, and to know that that's how you that's a really cool story, man. No, seriously, that's a really cool story, and I think we should all, as men, aspire to be a dad like that, right? To make our offspring see the world of music for what it is, this imaginative, beautiful thing where you can tell like real life stories about a guy just trying to figure out what it means to be a man and how he fits into the universe, and also good versus evil. You know what I mean? Like it's a really cool thing, and I think that you were able to to quantify. I don't know, man. It makes this album kind of more special to me, knowing that there were kids whose bedtime stories was this album. Does that make any sense to you guys? Because to me it's hitting, and I could totally see that, and it's like now I want to put together an album collection where I could do that. The way this is ending and transitioning is also fantastic. I love you, Sue. Daddy, can we get brown? Whoa, that is brown. Spoilers. Whoa! That descent! Is this the battle? So this is a jam, so no lyrics to deal with, but this... I feel like we're in the battle of the fight. Like Yoshimi is now helping. Yo, I think Ween might have also heard this album because Quebec happened after this, right? Like, is my understanding. I think Quebec happened in like 2003. And if so, it means in my brain, the Eft Jam might have been influenced by Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots Part 2. Just dots connecting, but maybe. Tell me you don't hear it. Tell me you don't hear it. The drums. Hearing that noise, right? Like the way that they incorporate these like very organic sound, and again, they're doing this again, but with the different instruments, right? I commented on how they were doing it with the acoustic guitar, but now they're doing it with the drums. And when you hear this virtuosic drum performance, but then you hear the way it's kind of cut up and edited, and the way that they've kind of created this like digital battle scene, it's gnarly. Again, it really adds into the imagination of the whole thing. The stereo soundscape is nuts. Wow. Whoa! Do you think that this is anybody's first impression of this band? Like, do you think that anybody heard this band for the first time on this song? Because it'd be kind of funny to like the whole album. We've heard such wonderful sentimentality to it, right? But then this. It would be the equivalent of introducing somebody to Ween through the F Jam, right? Like, you just have this crazy madhouse of sound without any explanation. It's kind of a funny thought. But I really like this. And normally I don't like I don't like instrumental jams, but this is one that's kind of amazing. There's a repetition to this, but it's like it almost builds itself further. It's like, how much can we do, more? How much more can we do with the same thing? And like they keep adding to it. And this build up, like the down to down to down to down to down. This. Down to down to down to down. And they keep adding to it, and you hear the drums go nuts. There's a bell. Whoa. The stereo soundscape is nuts. Yes. And then after the battle, the morning of the magicians? Yeah, now that we can all agree, it would be really, really, really wild and probably not advisable to introduce somebody to the Flaming Lips with Yoshimi Part 2. Yoshimi Part 1, go for it. That's a fantastic song. I don't like the instrumental jams. I feel like I know that's false, considering the jammy music is something, yeah, you've listened to on the channel. Yeah, you're right. I'm saying they don't often get the plus mark from me because it's like I don't often end up revisiting them is I guess what I'm saying. It's like when it's just purely an instrumental track, I don't often end up giving it like the heart, the star, whatever the case may be. Just because it's like very often I don't end up returning to it unless it's in the concept of I'm just listening to the whole album again. 69, nice. All 69 of you guys, thank you for being here. And if you ever wonder why on my videos I say 69, it's because at that moment, 69 people happen to be watching the live show. It occurred to me that the YouTuberooskies have no clue unless they're a part of the Twitch culture that that's a case. So if you ever hear us say 69, nice, that's why. I love that transition into this kind of like happy day moment. Absolutely, yes. Yeah, hearts don't decide the opinion, you're right. You know, I will say though, to that point, while hearts don't decide like my opinion of an album, I do think that they're just kind of a representation of like looking back, right? I also think it should go without saying that some albums are a collection of songs and I would only listen to a few songs, and other albums are like a story where every single song is a part of that story that you gotta hear for the context of the rest of the album to make sense. And in that context, it's very, very, very different. And so I would say in that context, you kind of have to look at the album as is the album a cohesive unit together, or is it a collection of songs that you can take some or leave some, it's like it's a case by case basis. without question. Ooh. The uplifting of that acoustic guitar coming in.
In the morning I'd awake, and I couldn't remember
I think words and music just mean different things to
what
different
is
people.
love and what is hate.
Wow.
The calculations error.
This is beautiful, dude.
Oh,
Listen for that happening in the right ear. Do 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 do. That like electric guitar part just kind of
what
delicately.
is hate? The calculations error.
Right there. Just the right ear. I love this song already, dude.
What is love and what is hate? Why does it matter?
You hear the heartbeat behind it?
Is to love just a waste? How can it matter?
I'm moved by this sound. What a way to go. And the Oh, wow. And the bass into that. That was a great drop, dude. You know, I've got to say, they really have just done a perfect job of blending the organic and the synthetic in terms of sound and joining them together. Yo, Sky, Puppin, thank you. Welcome to the Rooskies. Rooskies, make our new friend feel at home. This is absolutely just one of those things that you can kind of get lost in the soundscape. The drum moments. You hear that? The uplifting. Ooh.
as the dawn began to break, I had to surrender.
Wow.
The universe will have its way.
This acoustic guitar part with this
Too
is so weird.
powerful to master.
This album is such a juxtaposition of sound, dude. You just noticed the fish references in the chat?
What is love? What is hate? And why does it matter? Is to love just a waste? How
Wait a minute. Does he say is love just a waste there in the background? After what is love, what is hate?
is to love just a waste?
Is to love just a waste? I'm wondering. And how can it matter? That transition, the bass line. They do these things. Do 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 do. Like it's almost like you're a robot that's like skipping, like you're or like a CD player that did that, right? Like, but they do this intentionally, and I think that they want you to like kind of get into a vibe and then just kind of get tripped up as you're going through it. And it really does create this flowy thing where it's like you get kind of sucked into it, and then it like the music reminds you like that, right? And I feel like I think it's because they were inspired by this. From down to up. I don't know that I've heard of anything like this, like glitchy pop. And you hear the applause. It makes it really easy to just kind of they're one of one for sure. It's interesting because I have found myself trying to put myself into the place of the narrator throughout this album, right? And it's definitely I think that there is by design some element of like you are a robot that is kind of breaching sentience through this album or through the I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what vibe I'm getting through this, and I really appreciate that. Like it almost feels like there's a Pinocchio kind of vibe to the narration of the album, and I think that's a really cool way to look at it. And I'm trying to decide if it fades into the next song as well. Just hard. Kind of gears up again. This is your favorite lip song. There's so many great things going on here, especially the lyrics. Speaking of, the drum work is definitely MVP on this album. Ego tripping to the gates of hell. Okay. The echoes and decays of his voice. I'm really moved by that. I was waiting on the moment, but the moment never came. All the billion other moments were just slipping all away. I think that there's absolutely a reality to this. And I feel like so many of us in life, like, look at things like in our lives and you're like, once X, Y, and Z is better, I'll be okay. Or once like I accomplish X, Y, and Z thing, I'm gonna be happy. But it's not the case, you know? and you end up putting yourself onto this like hedonic treadmill where you're continuously trying to figure things out, and you're continuously realizing the things you figured out didn't make any sense to you at all. And you're everywhere you go, there you are. And I like that it's this, kind of recognize where you are, recognize that all of these wonderful, beautiful things could be passing you by, but you're waiting on something that may or may not happen, it's a really, really cool way to be, and recognize, if everywhere you go, there you are. Maybe the thing we fix is ourself, and the thing that we do work on is our perspective. And, you know, in this context, waiting for a moment that never comes while all these other beautiful moments slip away, you know, it's easy choice to me. This sound. I've never heard Spoon. Have a good one, Meat. Again, it's easy to hear this, and I'm checking the drums. Yeah, Steven, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Drozd. I'm not sure, but this guy is an absolute madman, and to hear the way he's drumming in the context of this whole thing is even more bonkers, because it's like, how do you know what's going to change? Like, I can't imagine trying to be in a live band recreating a lot of this, and having the, the splicing, the cut up stuff, like the transition moments into this. The do-do-do-do. Even the way they're board fading. Because it's like, it doesn't feel like a regular board fade, because they're just kind of moving you into a different song. I don't know. Okay, maybe that was a pretty gnarly. I mean, okay, we have a lot of dead time in this song. So, okay, that song was fantastic. My one gripe was like how many seconds at the very, very end were just dead silent. But I will say the way that they utilized that board fade was actually kind of masterful by comparison to what I would normally say about board fades. Because again, you end up in a place where like all of these other sounds kind of come to the forefront. I really, really, really liked that. In 1999, while touring the Soft Bulletin, I have no idea if I'm saying that right, decided to assume guitar duties as well as bass, keyboards, and backing vocals using his drum machine during live performances, but he still drums on the studio albums to this day. Oh, wow. Dude really puts it in. Multi-instrumentalists, for the win. Honestly, like, this is kind of one of those albums where I wonder how many things inspired it. It feels like so much indie rock happened after this, and there's no way it didn't take inspiration from this. Again, I think the Postal Service, I'd have to look at the timetables, but they're at very least happening in a contemporary sense. But for the Flaming Lips to be doing stuff like this, since the 80s, but then put out this like kind of masterful, and it's like a masterclass in like a whole bunch of different things that are all really, really, really goofy, right? It's like only dorky people are really gonna think to themselves like, let's chop up the sounds this way, and like let's make these concepts like as synthetically organic as possible, but in sound. It's a very like funny way to put it, but then like even just the concept and the lyrics, like to the point, like just ego tripping, like I feel like in this context it's kind of just saying like you're waiting at the gates of hell for something to happen that's never gonna happen, and the existentialism behind the lyrics is absolutely there. I feel like there is this kind of call to recognize the moment that we're in and not the moment that we want. And to do that in this concept of like, I don't know. I very much the last two songs, I mean this album in general. Oof. It's a heavy hitter, but it's like deeply kind of a personal listen, Gluten Gaming, W's again, huge. Okay. This is my favorite. Okay, got it. So, like me, it's funny. You guys are all embodying your true Rooski here. Like every song after, you're like, no, this is my favorite one. Hilariously enough, and you guys know the music. Some of you. For those of you that are listening to this with me for the first time, by the way, what are your impressions of this? This is awesome. Mike Gordon from Fish does the cover of this? Ooh. Goofy sounds. Very brown. Very percussion driven also.
Forgiving you for tricking me again.
It's weird. It feels like this whole album's time signature is like somewhere in between like music that took a Zoloft and like, I don't know, like tape that's being stretched. And I kind of like that. Like it feels weird to say free form, but it also feels like weird to say goopy. But it's the best way I know how to put it. Like the way that I had just listen to the delivery of the lyrics.
Forgiving
I think we need to make a distinction that when we're talking about indie rock, we're talking about it in the collection of sound textures that it is, and not necessarily like they are independent artists of record labels, right? Like we're talking about the subgenre that is a collection of sound textures, and not like the ethos that is no label.
Forgiving you. What is this? Are you some kind of a hypnotist? Waving your powers around.
What is this? Are you some kind of hypnotist?
The sun eclipse behind the
This is so good. Okay, look, so I apparently can't snooze the ads anymore, and there's an ad that's gonna start off. This is definitely, no doubt, like psychedelic pop, but I've gotta run an ad, and admittedly, I gotta pee really bad. So I hate to do it in the middle of a song. I try my darndest to do anything to avoid that, but here we are. I will be right back. All right, guys. You hate when it happens, but sometimes it can't be avoided. Coming back in, and I think we should be able to close out the rest of the album before the next ad break. I'm bringing it back a little bit so we can hop in. Here we go. I really do just love this vibe. Do 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 do.
recognize your face.
And the fade out.
All those strangers, but I am a stranger now. All the recognize.
What? So I thought I recognized your face among all of the strangers, but I am stranger now amongst all of the recognized. Do you think they're being like intentionally psychedelic trying to do this, or do you feel like they're trying to give you like the impression of what it is to be again, I keep putting myself in the narrator's place. It's like, what do you think they mean? Ego tripping. Okay. The bass line really draws you into this song too, just like and there's absolutely We Are the Robots. I don't know. I've listened to this. I feel like this album, is kind of leading us to feel like the narration perspective is that of the robots. That's just my thought here. And again, even if it's wrong, I like that they've written it to a point that it can be ambiguous enough to where you're like, maybe, like, but it does have this, I don't know, like sentience meets technology kind of vibe to it. And the soundscaping of this album, I can't speak enough to. Like a lot of times, like there's not been any particular like virtuosic that instrument performance other than the drummer, in my opinion. Like, but it's not like they just rip a guitar solo or rip a drum solo or really anything. But what it's like the sound design is what is virtuosic about this performance. The lyrics, the story, the way it all moves. It's like, yeah, the band is really tight. The musicians are really tight, but it's like this was a scenario where like the studio was absolutely used as an instrument just as much as any of the instruments themselves were. And yeah, I maybe actually I like that idea. It's a story loosely told in chapters through different perspectives. The overarching concept is existentialism. I think that's maybe the best way to sum it up. So far, I'm only halfway through the album, so it's not like I've got any round of context. Ooh. Like, my word's not canon here, but man, that's a good sound. Again, the last, like, 3 songs have just been mind-blowingly massive bangers. My eyes kind of kill me.
It's summertime, and I can understand if you
like you hear the tremolo on the guitar. Whoa. Like they've got this like a vibrato or a tremolo thing happening on the guitar in the back, but it's just subtle.
If you still feel sad.
Oh,
it's
it's nice.
Summertime. No, it's hard to see. It's
kind of goes away. You don't think it will. You think it'll be uplifting, but it ends up kind of, going down instead of up. Like it after It's Summertime, you think it's going to be like, going in a direction.
No, it's hard to
And it goes down instead of up.
It's true.
Yo, Crimson Raider, thank you for the 100 tickle biddies. There's like a moment of
look outside.
I really like this turn. This song kind of like that moment of look outside. It very much has like a Beatles kind of uplift to it, but there's something there like it's hard to see its true possibilities. When you look outside, all you'll see. When you look inside, all you'll see is a self-reflected inner sadness. Look outside. That is such amazing writing. I'm literally just sitting here so moved by that because again, it like as a person who's kind of in my journey of life, right, come out of a really dark, sad place, there was a moment where I had to kind of like look inside myself and realize like, okay, things got to change. And then, I don't know. I looked outside. I did something that was different than what I was doing, and I found this wonderful thing. And I like that there's this moment of like the comment on the sadness and the darkness, but then the look outside and this huge uplifting moment of hope happens. Like after after reflecting on inner sadness, and you have your friend with the acoustic guitar being the one that delivers the oh man. This song is so nice. And you've got this kind of goofy, chaotic.
Look outside. I know that you recognize it's summertime.
I like the guitar work there. It's starting to feel more organic.
Look outside. I know that you recognize it's summertime.
The hope within that lyricism is massive. And the birds are out there a-winging. And notice the birds are going through stereo soundscapes as if they're like flying overhead. Like you're hearing a bird left ear, right ear into left ear. And as we do on this channel, when anything the birds, we consider them. Considering the birds changed my life, guys, in a very, very, very real way. So to hear birds panning in sound is pretty cool. It really is like a look outside. Like, look at the birds, And I think the next song is like the song I'm sort of familiar with. From maybe the movie 50 First Dates, if I had to guess. Considering the birds, everybody. It's summertime and we're considering the birds. You hear this arpeggiated that kind of sound? I don't know if it's like an arpeggiated thing or if I can't quite consider. I was about to say I can't quite consider the birds, but no. What I was gonna say is, yeah, it's a delay, but like, is it a delay on an actual bass or is it like an arpeggiator? And the drum track. I love what's happening with the sound right now. Kind of just decaying itself. That wasn't a board fade in the way I would necessarily call a board fade. I liked that everything sort of fell out there, but I also feel like there is an element where you they wanted you to have that, that kind of sense of decay as the song goes out there. You've heard me on this channel talk a lot about how much I love just hearing the end junk of sound. Like, when you hear delays kind of cascading over one another, or like the decay of reverbs. And this album has really kind of been special at that sound or those sounds being so present in the mix with everything. It's like they figured out a way to utilize those sounds specifically into like a whole genre or like a whole, a whole project. It's actually really, really interesting, because it's like so much of so many of the things I've said, like, oh, I love this about music, I love this about music, like, and it's like an album full of those things. It makes perfect sense to me why all of the nominations, of all of the votes, like, for us to be doing it like a, what the votes are in tour. It makes perfect sense to me why this album is on there. Like, I'm absolutely seeing what it is everybody, starting with Gluten Gaming, was telling me about listening to this. This is like, I feel like I'm gonna remember listening to this album like as a core memory. It's really, really, really blowing me away. And like, Mel, I know you can't I know you can't hear Mel, but she's saying her too. I don't know. It's sometimes I hear albums and I hear music and I'm like with the the homies, like all of you guys over there, wherever yous are, and like, it's just a very special thing. Like, wow, this music is hitting me. These words are hitting me, and I relate to them. And I this story that it's telling, or the picture that it's painting, whatever it is. I don't know. This album has been. Thank every single person that nominated it, because honestly, this has been one of my favorite of the journey so far. Of like this might be right now. I know I'm in the middle of it. There's an element of recency bias here, but this might be the album on the the results, or the votes are in tour, that I liked the most. And I think that this is a song I know already, but I've never like gone out of my way to listen to it. This should have been on my formative 5. I'm kind of believing it, but in a way that only music does. I feel like I'm finding this album when I'm supposed to, and I don't know another way to put that. But I'm telling you, as a person that's sitting here hearing it, massively impacted by it, like just really living in the story, really excited about being in the moment of the album. I feel like this is going to be one of those albums that like I cherish forever, like, and I grow old with, kind of like I did with the song Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. And I can remember hearing that song for the first time and crying, because it was the first song that ever made me cry. It's the first song that ever moved me to tears. But honestly, this album is kind of giving me that vibe. And I think it's really cool that I'm here to hear this album. I'm here with all of you guys and with you. And again, I'm imagining like the last 3 songs are huge, but this song I'm guessing is maybe the most listened on the album, because it's the one I already know. So I'm gonna start it over, go from there. Thank you guys for being here with me on this particular listening journey. This is amazing. I love this acoustic sound.
Do you realize that you have the most
The perfect one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my whole life. This is nuts, man. And like, what a love song. But it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a love song for like a romantic lover. It could be a love song for people. Mel is bawling her eyes out over here, by the way. I know you can't see it, but I don't know. There's just something about just the love of a person, the love of people. There's a real organic and authentic beauty to this song, and I think so many of us have experienced this emotion for a person, whether we're with them or not. Like, and to what a gift, to feel this way about a person. I don't know. Again, in the place of life I'm finding myself in, I don't know where where I realize what it is. I don't know. Some of the lyrics in this have felt like they came from my brain to the page, right? And the beauty of this, like the idea of just having somebody, like there is a very core emotion, like to humanity, to seeing the beauty in another person that doesn't see it in themselves. And I think that that's kind of part of the magic of love, right? Like, is that you're the person that sees that in the other person. And I as a person, that finds myself in a similar place of disbelief. Like, do you realize, like, this album is fantastic. This song is so good.
And instead of saying all of your goodbyes, let them know you realize that life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning round.
I think we've all seen, like, my wife is just bawling her eyes out listening to this song right now. In a very real place of life, it's kind of just, I don't know. This song is really exemplifying like what it is to be in the beauty of music. Like to see a person and for what they really are. I don't know. This song, the intention behind it, like, but even then, it's like whether to the point of like whether it's a romance or a funeral, like it doesn't have to. It's just a person of love. It could be your sister. It could be your brother. It could be your wife. It could be your grandma. It could be anybody. But I think the ultimate beauty is the love that you see in the people around you, and this album has done very well to comment on like being in the moment, right? Like not letting the moment pass you by. And I feel like this is again kind of there, like, it just you realize the sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world around you spinning. Do you realize? Like, this is one of the most wholesome human things in the goofiest friggin' story about people and robots, and again, like in this allegory of an album, to kind of, it's, you don't need a Pixar movie to show you the bright side of life. You can just do it with your imagination and some music and some creativity, and tell a real story about the beauty of humanity and what it is to see something wonderful in another person. And for you to accept that in the moment, because, everyone's going to die. And like, we need to like embody that love because they're going to die. Like, you're going to die and I'm going to love you relentlessly until then. Deal? This song is amazing.
It's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning round.
This might be one of the best songs ever.
Do you really
And then the uplift.
do you
Like the uplifting moment that to this.
that everyone you know someday will die? And instead of saying all of your goodbyes, let them know you realize that life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning round. Do you realize?
This is one of those songs where it's like I know I've talked a lot in the middle of it just for continuity's sake, so I can, but like you can just get lost in it, like I may you go forward and know how abundantly loved you are, and may you live in love in the moment. Recognize that like the loves that you have in your life are eventually going to die, whether it's your parents, whether it's your grandparents, your loved ones, whatever the case may be, your children, whatever. Eventually they're going to die. So may you recognize the love that is already in your life and appreciate it, because you might blink and eventually it's gone. And I recently lost a coworker, and that kind of hit me between the eyes, because it's like not a person that's in my day-to-day life. It's a person that's in my day-to-day life, but not a person that's close enough to you that you like, when you lose them, you still have to go to work. You know what I mean? That kind of scenario. But I never got a chance to really tell like Hunter how much I thought about him before he died, Like I really thought a lot about him, and I feel like I wouldn't have ever told Hunter I loved him. But I feel like there are probably people in your life that you would tell you love them. And I hope that you maybe go out of your way to do that, because you've probably got a ton of love in your life that you don't even really think about, that you take for granted because it's just there. So may you like recognize the love that's in your life and let people know that you care, because it will go a long way. And maybe one day you're going to wish you would have told some guy named Hunter that you used to work with, like, that you actually really did think a lot of him. And, that goes so much deeper than just your coworkers at work. Goes to your spouses, to your children, to your people. Words for thought. I love you guys. This song really has me. This album's got me in my feels big. Something about a tremolo guitar. The drums on this are unbelievable.
You have the most beautiful face. Do you realize?
This is one of the best songs in existence ever written. This is one of the best songs ever written. My wife, come on the screen. She just said she wanted to send it to her parents. I'm not. This isn't hyperbolic at all. This is actually like, this album hit me at the perfect time in my life, in all of the right ways, just like music does. It absolutely. I heard this album right when I was supposed to. And it's so crazy to me. Thank again everybody that, like, we have 2 more songs to go. I'm kind of sad about the fact that this album is almost over. I really think this is going to be one of like the quintessential albums of my life that I continuously return to. I don't know another way to put it. I haven't necessarily heard too many albums where I say, like, yeah, I get it, but this could absolutely be this is like, it feels like I'm hearing formative music to me. And I'm listening to it in 20 and 25. Good connection there, babe. I didn't even connect that. 2 more songs to go. Let's go out with the blaze of glory, friends, shall we? This is incredible.
As logic stands, you couldn't meet a man who's from the future.
Where's the next place I go with the Flaming Lips, by the way? Where is the next place I go? I
But logic broke as he appeared. He spoke about
Terminator for sure.
future.
I'll be back. Which is hilarious. We're talking. If you don't know what the Terminator list is, it's like a list I have of like things I'm absolutely coming. Like, I'll be back. Funnily enough, that list is talked about on like an album featuring robots. Little irony. I'm starting over.
As logic stands, you couldn't meet a man who's from the future. But logic broke as
They
he
really do make
appeared. He spoke
the sounds
about
sound.
the future.
They have this amazing use of sound as like foley, right? Like the instrumentation. It feels like it, robots. I don't know another. It sounds like you're hearing machines, and it's so cool. It brings you right there into this, and it's like, as logic stands, you couldn't meet a man from the future, but logic broke as he appeared. He spoke. Like, it's
Broke
wow.
as he appeared. He spoke about the future.
The man from the future comes and he talks about the future.
We're not gonna make it. He explained how the end will come. You and me were never meant to be part of the future.
Kind of like, you think it's about to be dancing,
All we have,
but it's like not. All we have is now. That same
all we've ever had is now.
words and music. Can we all, so Mel is over here apologizing to me for blowing her nose like crazy because of the big cry that she just had. Can we all just say it's okay to her? She's saying she's so happy, but she can't stop crying. Can we all just say it's okay? We don't care if you snot. This album has been so good.
All we have is now.
And again, all we ever have is now. Like, this album has 100% been a focal point on now. Like, focus on the now. And I feel like if I could give you any bit of advice as like a person who's battled like my own issues, like battled myself, as a person who's like pulled myself out of my own personal trenches, I'm absolutely going to tell you, focus on the now. Like, don't worry about what's going to happen in the future, the things that you don't have right now. Don't worry about anything other than the fact that, like, right now you are alive, you are good, everything is well, and you're breathing. And, like, honestly, focusing on the things that I have in the present helped me so much when it came to things in my future. So again, be a person that breathe and live in the now. Consider the birds.
I noticed that he had a
through the round, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. He explained how the end will come. He explained how the end will come. Barry Brown.
Never meant to be part of the future.
There's this like it's like, I don't know, am I hearing like polymeter things happening right now? Because it feels like there's this heartbeat of this in the background with the drums, but then you have all of these other things happening with the voices, like with I feel like they're creating an intentional dissonance there. But I don't even know how to put my finger on the time signatures. Soundscape at the end of this thing.
All we have is
And the bombastics with the drums there. I am genuinely so sad that this is the last song. This is. And I'm just, this is only gonna make sense for the live crowd right now, and on YouTube it's not gonna be a big deal. But I'm actually just not gonna listen to another album tonight after this. I'm not gonna do that to the other album. Going into the last song, I feel like I have just heard one of the albums that defined my life. It's not going to be fair to Fiona if I do that. I think it would be better if I reschedule Fiona. I'm not even going to lie. It is not okay. I have literally made rules on the channel for this very thing. I don't have it in me. I'm not going to listen to another album tonight. I'll like a game of marbles, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to finish this album and just feel good about it. Honestly, I don't know another way to put it other than to say that other music is just going to sound really terrible by comparison to this. And I don't have it in my brain to not separate it. Every other sound is going to suffer by comparison to me tonight. And this is me just being as honest a human being as I can for you. Like, I recognize I get paid for content, right? Like, and I'm telling you, it would be not cool to any other album for me to listen to it on the same night as this. He's been moved too far already. That's it. Yeah. I'm absolutely gonna just reschedule for Fiona, because I want her to have a fair shake. Maybe she'll do the same thing to me, that the Flaming Lips did, but this has genuinely been one of the most amazing albums I have ever heard, and it wouldn't be good for Fiona. I don't know another way to put it. I have to have rules for myself, and let's just be real. Remember what happened when we listened to James Brown and Little Richard on the same night? We all walked away hearing two of the most amazing performances ever, but all of us said James Brown was better. And I'm not going to do that to anybody else. I'm going to let this evening, this stream, exists for one of the most amazing things I have ever been a part of and ever heard. I mean, honestly, I'm feeling really, really, really good about it. So, guys, let's go into this last song. Let's do this. All right, guys. Approaching Pavonis Mons by Balloon. Here we go. And just kind of a jam on the way out, I guess, huh? The soundscape on that guitar tone, even. It almost feels like he's playing digital call and release with the guitar. Or call and respond. Like, it feels like you've got this guy just chugging guitar, just kind of jamming with his, like, robot friends in, like, a call and response sort of way. I love it. Very trip-hop-ish. The electronic sounds mixed with what we know are instruments, though. I kind of see this as though, like, Yoshimi won, right? Like, won the battle. And what we are in the midst of is kind of like this acceptance moment. Like, it does feel a little bit to me like this is like us on Endor, like the Forest Moon with the Ewoks, a little bit in its own way. Like, it kind of feels like we're reflecting on the huge battle. And, like, this is... in this journey, we have reflected on what it is to be a man. We have reflected on, like, losing our loved ones, like what it is to be a human in the wake of what it is that we have. Like, it feels like this is our moment of, like, everything is okay. Yub nub, It really does feel like that. And, like, you're chilling with the good robots and like, celebrating the victory. People and robots coexisting, singularities happened, and we're all just peaceful and happy. Of this is so huge. I really feel so good right now. That was cinema. No, I don't want to hear this other thing. That was somehow both cinema and it was cinema in sound. It addressed some of the biggest questions of life, some of the most existentially frightening parts of being a human, and it just kind of did it with a smile. It created this like massive world where like robots took over the future, and people are kind of struggling. And it's funny because right now when you look at the world around you know, it feels like it's not that far removed, you know, like it's kind of like one of those dystopia things that you just, you know, you end up realizing like they wrote about a dystopia that we're now living in or whatever. But like through that creation you get some of the most beautiful expression of life. It's hard to be an artist and ask massively existential questions like that, and do it in a way that doesn't leave your audience just reeling and walking away feeling too heavy, right? And I feel like they did this in a way that was massively wonderful. They approached some of the biggest questions of life and let you walk away with just a deep breath of fresh air, you know, like. And they told a story. I feel like that this album in general is kind of an allegory for love and humanity, and also the importance of living in the now. I don't To put it into perspective for you, I feel like I just heard an album that has got me thinking I don't want to hear any other music but that album. You know what I mean? Like, I just heard an album that made me feel like this is why I love music. This is why I love people. This is why I love life. You know, like you get to live in this imaginative world for a little while, and you know, you get to kind of dig into what it is an artist's brain might be thinking, but then you get to live in the perspective of the story for a while, right? Like you get to live in the universe that is Yoshimi battles the pink robots, and you get to think about what is life, what is sentience, what does it mean to be a person. And honestly, like as a humanities major with an emphasis in philosophy, uh, any dork with a liberal arts background and education will tell you that this is one of the most massively amazing and monumental questions that we ask. This is like the building blocks of what humanity's philosophical, you know, questioning is built on. And that they approached this in the way that they did is incredible. I mean, it's not like I just read Plato's allegory of the cave for the first time, right? But I feel kind of similarly like inspired and touched. It's not, again, very often that I've heard an album and I say that that's one of the best things I've ever heard in my whole life. Um, and in fact, I have never done a stream where I heard music and I said I can't listen to anything else tonight. I I cannot do it. Um, this album did that to me, and I really think that this is one of the coolest gifts that having this channel could have given me. You know, I have so many things I could say about it, but I mean, honestly, I just want to listen to it again. I really do just want to listen to the album again without having to pause it. I want to get to live in the story without. Isn't that weird? Like, I finished this album, and the first thing I wanted to do was listen to it without you guys. And I don't know. That's really, really, really cool. All right, run it back. Let's go. Guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds, and truly consider the birds. Goodbye.